The birthday card arrived on a Tuesday. Nothing special about the day, nothing unusual about the weather, nothing that suggested her life was about to split into two parts, before and after. The envelope sat quietly among bills, advertisements, and grocery coupons. Ordinary, forgettable, until she saw the handwriting and froze. Her coffee slipped slightly in her hand. Her heart didn't race. Not immediately. First came confusion, then disbelief, then something colder. Because she knew that handwriting, every loop, every curve, every imperfect capital letter. She had spent her entire childhood seeing it on lunch notes, Christmas gifts, and birthday cards. It belonged to her father, and her father had been dead for 5 years. Emily stared at the envelope for nearly a minute, maybe longer. She wasn't sure. Time felt strange, like it had stopped moving properly. She turned the envelope over, no return address, just her name, written exactly the way he always wrote it. Not Emily, not Emma, not M. Always, my sunshine. Her throat tightened because that was what he had called her since she was 3 years old. Not once, not sometimes, always, my sunshine. Even after she became an adult, even after she left home, even after he became sick. Especially then. Slowly, she opened the envelope. Inside was a birthday card. Simple, blue, the kind sold in every supermarket. Nothing remarkable, except for the message. Happy birthday, sunshine. If you're reading this, then I suppose I managed to keep my promise. I told you I would never miss your birthday. Love, Dad. The room became silent, completely silent. Emily sat down because suddenly standing felt impossible. 5 years, 5 birthdays without him. 5 years of missing his voice, his terrible jokes, his habit of singing off-key while washing dishes. 5 years. And somehow, a birthday card had just arrived. Her father had made promises before. Little promises, the kind parents make every day. I'll be at your recital. I'll help with your homework. I'll teach you to drive. And somehow, he had always kept them. Even during chemotherapy, even when he was exhausted, even when he could barely stand. If he promised something, it happened, which made this card impossible. And yet, there it was, resting in her hands, real. That evening she drove to her mother's house, the same house where she had grown up. The same house where her father had planted roses every spring, the same house where every room still carried pieces of him. Her mother answered the door. One look at Emily's face, and concern appeared instantly. What happened? Emily handed her the envelope. No explanation. No warning. Her mother read the front, stopped breathing for a second, then sat down. Neither woman spoke. For a long time. Finally, her mother whispered, "Oh," just one word, "Oh." As if something forgotten had suddenly returned. Emily looked at her. What? Her mother closed her eyes, then smiled sadly. Oh, your father. The story emerged slowly, piece by piece. Years earlier, during the final months of his illness, her father had spent many evenings alone in his study, writing, organizing, preparing things. At the time, everyone assumed he was handling paperwork, insurance, legal documents, practical things. No one asked many questions, because nobody wanted to talk about what was coming. Nobody wanted to admit they were running out of time. But apparently, that wasn't what he had been doing. Not entirely. One afternoon, without telling anyone, he had purchased dozens of birthday cards, future birthday cards, for Emily, for her mother, for his grandson he had never even met. He had written them all, years in advance. Emily felt tears rising, but her mother wasn't finished. There was something else. What? Her mother stood, walked upstairs, and returned carrying a small wooden box. A box Emily had never seen before. Inside were letters, dozens of them, neatly arranged, each labeled with a future date, birthdays, anniversaries, milestones, important moments. Her father had anticipated as many as he could, as if he were trying to leave pieces of himself behind, little emotional time capsules, waiting to be discovered. Emily opened another envelope, this one marked, "For the day you doubt yourself." Inside was a short note. Sunshine. If you're reading this, life is probably being difficult. That's okay. Life has always been difficult. The important thing is remembering that difficult is not the same thing as impossible. You are stronger than you think. You always have been. Love, Dad. Emily began crying, not softly, not politely. The kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep. The kind that arrives when grief and love occupy the same space. Over the next several months, she opened the letters slowly, one at a time, never rushing. Some made her laugh, some made her cry. One contained a list titled Things I Hope You Never Forget. The first item read, People rarely remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. Another read, Call your mother. She's going to pretend she doesn't need you. She's lying. Emily laughed through tears when she read that one. Then one day, she found the final letter, the one at the bottom, the one without a date, the one simply labeled, When You're Ready. It was the shortest letter in the box, just a few lines. Sunshine. If you've reached this letter, then enough time has passed, long enough for grief to change shape, long enough for life to continue, long enough for you to understand something important. Love does not end when people leave. It simply changes its address. I'm not where I used to be, but I am still part of every lesson I taught you, every memory we shared, every choice you make, every kindness you give away. Don't spend your life looking backward for me. Look forward. That's where I left the best parts of you. Love, Dad. Emily read the letter 3 times, then 4, then 5, because some words aren't meant to be understood immediately. They're meant to arrive exactly when they're needed. The following birthday, another card arrived, then another the year after that, and another, each carrying a little piece of a man who refused to let death have the final word. Years later, Emily would tell her own children about him, about the cards, about the letters, about promises, and how sometimes love finds extraordinary ways to keep them. Because in the end, the greatest gift her father left behind wasn't the letters, it wasn't the cards, it wasn't even the memories. It was the certainty that real love continues speaking long after the voice itself is gone.